All right, we're starting to get some news about who is going to be in this upcoming Trump administration. Daily Wire reports President-elect Donald Trump announced late on Sunday night that he was naming his former acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to be the new border czar. Trump said in a statement, quote, "I'm pleased to announce that the former ICE director and stalwart on border control, Tom Homan, will be joining the Trump administration in charge of our nation's borders, the border czar, including but not limited to the southern border, the northern border, all maritime and aviation security." He continued, "I've known Tom for a long time, and there's nobody better at policing and controlling our borders. Likewise, Tom Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin. Congratulations to Tom. I have no doubt he'll do a fantastic and long-awaited job." So this is one of the first official positions that Trump has filled. And this is going to be the person who, and the good thing is here that Trump is actually explaining what the border czar is supposed to do, which is already. So already he's done. He's not even the president yet, and he's already done more in that regard than Biden ever did. Because, as we know, famously he put Kamala in the position of border czar, but never told us what exactly that entails. What is she doing exactly? Turns out she did nothing. Well, except facilitate the flood of more illegal immigrants into the country. So she did that. But in this case, we're being told exactly what he's going to do. And that includes he is going to be heading up the mass deportation program. So who is this guy? And if you're not familiar with him, not sure whether you should be excited about this appointment or not, I think there are two clips that should tell you everything you need to know about this guy. First, here he is in a hearing somewhat recently, getting interrogated by AOC. Let's watch that.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their...
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father from his
Mr. Homan,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay. Mr. Chair, the memo is submitted to the record for review.
She's got nothing at the end. Okay. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Because, of course, what he said there is very simple, very correct. Really basic point about the separation of families, that anytime somebody commits a crime, they're going to be separated from their family, at least for some period of time. This is what enforcing the law pretty much always entails. And you never hear anyone lament that fact, or you might lament it. I mean, as he points out, if somebody commits a DUI, they're going to go to jail. You might lament the fact that they're being taken away from their kids. It's a sad thing. It's sad for the kids. But nobody would blame the court system for separating. Nobody would say that, well, because this person has a kid, they just shouldn't go to jail at all. They should be allowed to do whatever they want. They shouldn't be punished for DUI because they have a kid. If anything, it's the opposite. You're like, well, this is all the more reason to punish them. You have a kid and you're acting that way. So very basic point there, but true and correct and important. And then AOC says, well, they haven't committed a crime. They're asylees. They're seeking asylum. And you notice, of course, what's happened here. It's very obvious that the rebranding of illegal immigrants. Okay, we went from they were illegal immigrants, and then it became undocumented immigrants. And then there's really been an update in the branding, the euphemisms used by people like AOC. Yeah, they still call them undocumented, but now you don't even hear that term used as often because instead they just call them all asylum seekers or asylees, as AOC said. So that's the rebranding now. This is really what AOC believes. This is not a straw man. This is what she believes. What she would say is that every single illegal immigrant in this country is an asylum seeker. Just by the very fact that they came here even if they never seek asylum in any kind of official legal way. If somebody came here as an illegal immigrant 15 years ago and has just been living here and, working a job that they shouldn't be working because it belongs to an American citizen, they're an asylum seeker. They never actually sought asylum in any official way. They never declared themselves. They never did. But they're automatically an asylum seeker because they are here. That's the way that she sees it. That's the way the left sees it. Tom Homan is saying, no, it turns out that there's actually an official process for seeking asylum. And you have to go through that process. And if you don't, then that's what makes you an illegal immigrant. So that tells you something about this guy's approach. All right, let's talk about something that affects all of us, taxes. The October 15th deadline is passed. And if you're not prepared, you could be in for a world of hurt. Do you owe back taxes? Are your returns still unfiled? Did you miss the deadline to file for an extension? Well, now that we're past October 15th, the IRS is probably gearing up for some aggressive enforcement. Trust me, you don't want to be on their radar. We're talking wage garnishments, frozen bank accounts, or even property seizures. It's not pretty. But before you start panicking, there's still hope. Tax Network USA has helped taxpayers save over $1 billion in tax debt and filed over 10,000 tax returns. These guys specialize in reducing tax burdens for working Americans just like you. Look, I get it. Dealing with the IRS is about as fun as a root canal, but ignoring the problem won't make it go away. So here's what you need to do. Don't wait any longer. For a complimentary consultation, call today at 1-800-958-1000 or visit their website at tnusa.com/Walsh. Their experts will walk you through a few simple questions to see how much you can save. That's 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/Walsh today. Don't let the IRS take advantage of you. Get the help you need with Tax Network USA. And there's also this. That was Exhibit 1. Here's Exhibit 2. This is from 60 Minutes a couple of months ago.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
So in other words, yeah, you should be excited about this appointment. This is exactly the kind of guy that you need in the government. This is the kind of guy you need in leadership positions. It's the kind of guy you need handling a problem like this. Everything about it, even the way, just the look, everything. It's exactly what you need. It should be a guy, even before you hear him say anything, you can just kind of look at this guy, you're like, yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy we want on this. And then you hear what he has to say, and it makes it very clear. Trump's border czar is the guy who said that, the way to prevent family separations is to deport the whole family together, which is true. It's exactly right. This is the appropriate way to handle family separations. If you don't want to separate the family, well, send them all back. That's how you solve problem solved. And that is the appropriate way to handle family separations. It's common sense. But it's the kind of thing that until Trump, no Republican official would ever say. And more importantly, it's a policy that they would never enact. And this is exactly what we need. We need someone who will coolly and dispassionately apply the law, right? Enough of the compassionate conservative types who are so easily manipulated by airheads like AOC. We also don't need, on the other end of that spectrum, maybe some kind of like crusading firebrand type. It's not really what you need. I mean, I'd take that. I'd prefer that over the former. But you don't even really need that either. You just need a guy who's competent and serious, no nonsense. A guy who's like, look, here's the law. We're going to enforce it. That's it. That's all. That's what the law is. So you're going to deport 20 million illegal immigrants? Well, they're all here and they shouldn't be. However many are here is how many we're going to deport. I don't know. If it's 20 million, that's the number. Here's the good news. Once we deport them all, then we don't have to worry. Then if that makes you sad, once you deport all of them, then you don't have to deport anybody anymore. So that's the good news. I will say this, and I don't want to hype things up too much ahead of time, but if Trump staffs his whole administration with guys like this, then his second term could be one of the great presidential terms in American history. If he does that, if these are the kinds of guys that are put into these positions. And when I say these kinds of guys, what do I mean? I mean, these are guys they're not neocons, they're not milquetoast centrists, they're not liberals. They're also not attention-seeking blowhards, right? Who seem like they're trying to parlay the job into a cable news gig. You don't need those kinds of people either. This is someone who's both competent and totally unconcerned with the left-wing narrative. A competent, no-nonsense guy who doesn't care what the liberals are whining about. Just they don't need to be performative. They don't need to be anything like that. You'd prefer if they're not. They don't need to love the attention. They don't need anything like that. You just need someone who cares about getting the job done, is going to get it done, and if the left is crying about it, they don't care. We need a whole administration of guys just like that. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.